Hello, everyone. Welcome to the welcome video for OL612. In our organizational leadership program, I am teaching the conflict management class. I also teach organizational communication. Some of you have taken that class already, and welcome back to another online class with me. And to our newcomers, welcome to OL612, Conflict Management. And I just want to say this class has gotten very popular throughout our Western Oregon campus. You might be actually a major from it that's using this class as an elective place for you, from education, interpretive studies, criminal justice, and other places on campus. And all are welcome. We have a lot to discuss. This video in particular that you have stumbled upon is the welcome video. It's where I'm going to go over the syllabus and what to expect this class. And you're going to kind of get to know me as I weave through all sorts of things. And in fact, in this book, I also discuss the books. So look for that as well as we get to that point. There is another video that I have posted for this week, which is the lecture video. And there, I call it the Tiny Desk video. So you can find my week 1 Tiny Desk lecture in the modules. That's a different video than what we're covering here. I don't usually post 2 videos a week. Your time is precious, and hearing me ramble on may not be on the top of your list. But this is a great video to use to just get you an overview of what's happening. And let's get to know each other. All right, so I am going to go into the module here and click on our syllabus. I'm opening it up as well. So if you would like to have it available for us to look at the same time, that's always great. So on the first page of the syllabus, you're going to find our course description, an accessibility statement, and other Western Oregon University services that are available. And then there's a picture of me in a very similar box than the one you're seeing now. And you can find my contact information there. You can also find it in the modules on Canvas. The Start Here module has its own page just on how to contact me. It also has the links for meeting in a Zoom room. It has the link for making an appointment. So I use Calendly app. If you have ever used Calendly, some professors use it, or maybe you've used it before as well. To make appointments, it really helps. And I have a link there, and you can make an appointment without going back and forth, back and forth. And sometimes if you send me an email and I feel like the question might be answered better in a Zoom call, I will send you the option of talking to me. I'm not so much as a go back with email. We're teaching this class asynchronously online, and we struggle because we are asynchronous in learning environments. There's a very small group of people who really flourish in this experience, but most of us are do better when we work with others. And you're going to see that there's lots of things you're going to expect this term where we're going to build community and work with each other, even if we're asynchronous. It can be done, and we will find the path forward. All my education majors that are in the class or design curriculum design experts out there, uh, maybe you will be able to see and look through what I'm doing. I'd love to always get your feedback on that. Okay, let's see, where are we at now? I am on campus Wednesday and Thursday. So if you work on campus or have other things you do on campus and you want to just drop into my office hours, you can find that information before I scroll to the second page. Second page is student conduct and self-care, I call it. This whole class is self-care. That's what we are going to be learning in conflict management, is really how do you manage uh, dysregulation and emotions and difficult moments. How are you taking care of some of the reactions our bodies have to conflict? And I'm a great person to talk about that because I get flooded very quickly. First vocabulary word, flooded, very quickly. And so a lot of the class is how to deal with stress and cortisol and get us back in the regulating part of our bodies so then we can deal with the conflict itself. So I'm going to give you a lot of tools. On this page of the syllabus, I do talk a bit about academic integrity and AI generated work, linguistic models specifically. I really want your work to be your own work. These are really interesting and growing tools we're all trying to learn about. And so understanding the difference of using it as AI language model software as tools, or and to not replace your own thinking process. Remember, writing, emergent writing can be exploratory for some people. And I don't know who you are in that. Some people have to talk out loud to explore and process their thinking process, and some people do it through writing or writing, you know, write by hand or this type of writing. And then, and I don't want you to lose that if that is a part of you. In fact, I struggle with writing a lot, but I find that if I can get myself into a flow with it, I actually can surprise myself. And I'm like, oh, that is what I'm thinking. Oh, I'm getting closer to the point I want to make. And then getting it. So let's make sure that's emergent for you. And I don't want to rob you of that amazing experience. All right. Or AI shouldn't rob you of that experience. This class is online. That means you have a technology requirement. You already are on Canvas and watching this video, so that means you have some technology. You also, I'm making a video, I make a video, you're gonna make a video, we're all gonna make videos. Sometimes we'll make videos together. And this means that you need a camera and you need some type of sound equipment, or check your sound, or find a location where you can filter sound, ambient noises, sounds. It doesn't mean it has to be dead silent. I don't want to make it sound, you have a responsibility to make your sound is okay. But if you're using things like the Zoom, we will be Zooming in meetings and stuff. And in a Zoom meeting, it naturally has an ambient sound filter. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a lawnmower going off right in front of my house here and blowing. It's fall leaves, so there's blowing the leaves around. My dog just barked a second ago. If you didn't hear those things, that's because Zoom, which I'm recording this through a Zoom app, is filtering them out for us. And thank you, Zoom, for having a audio filter. And so you don't have to be so worried about ambient noises, just consistency with audio quality. Practice. Ask a friend to Zoom with you, ask a family member, do a practice run before you meet with your team. It does make a difference. If you don't have a camera, you can always use your phone, your smartphone. If you have a camera on a phone, or if you want to use the Western Oregon University Library Services, they have they actually have stuff you can check out, technology items you can check out, or call the OSU Computer Help Desk. Anyway, that's what all those WU service numbers are for, that you can hunt around, or call me and we can figure it out together too. The next page of the syllabus is your grading and assessments. Seems kind of weird to go over this right away, before we even talked about the assignments you're going to be doing, but I have the rubric for what is an A, B, C, D, and I have my late work rubric as well. So I have two different columns on this page. You may have already been looking through this, but I'll just explain it here that when I set a due date, you get a natural extension of 12 hours where you will not lose any points on any assignment. And that's to give you a buffer if you have a technology problem, because technology has issues, or if you are just not feeling well or a family thing comes up all of a sudden, you have a little bit of a buffer in there to get the work in. After 12 hours is when you see your point reduction, the point penalty for turning something in late. And this is important, most of my assignments are due at 9 p.m., 9 o'clock in the evening. Uh, that will be different than most Canvas assignments that you have because Canvas autofills 11:59 p.m. But I want you to realize that the times for this class are a little bit earlier than that. But if you like that 11:59 p.m., I got you. Turn it in at 11:59, and you won't lose a single point because of that natural built-in extension that makes it fair for everybody, and you don't have to be clinging to that due date with too much panic if you need a little breathing space. Uh, and then assignments close at 72 hours. So from 12 hours to 72 hours, it's the same point penalty, 20% of the grade. So if it was a 10-point assignment, you would get 8 if everything in the assignment was done correctly. And then after 72 hours or whenever the assignment closes on Canvas, uh, that's I do not accept late work after that. So you want to keep an eye on that. So if something was due on a Sunday, you have till Wednesday to get it in if you need that space. Now, there's another natural extension or what we call a flexibility option. And I call them flex tokens. A flex token, you get 3 flex tokens, 1, 2, and 3. And you can use those flex tokens throughout the term. And that means that when you hit that 12-hour to 72-hour, if you want to use one of your tokens, plop it in the jukebox there, and I will not take any points off for lateness at all. So for 3 assignments, you can choose the flex token option to not get a point penalty hit. This is great. Take care of those 3 tokens, save them for when your back's up against the wall or you have several projects due on the same day. You really don't want to take a hit on an assignment. Also on that note, you if you don't use them at all, they become bonus points that you can use towards your final grade. All right. I have an explanation of why we do this system, and on Canvas in the Start Here module where it says late policy, you can see a much more longer explanation of this. This was just something for me to articulate so you can hear someone say it out loud. Now, that's late rubric for most work with the exception of our roundtable or team meeting assignments. So team meetings and roundtables, sometimes you'll see I've used both those terms. They're the same thing. Sorry for the linguistic variety for that, but your team meetings have a much more generous late policy, and that's because you have to coordinate schedules with everyone, which is a type of conflict. When your collaboration is a type of conflict, we're going to learn that this term. And one of your first collaborative assignments is to figure out what time you're going to have your roundtable discussion with the team that I assign you. So I will assign you a team. It'll go live at the end of week 2. You'll get your people, you'll start contacting them and going back and forth with the negotiation for day and time that works for everybody. And that's frustrating. Sometimes it's difficult and it's frustrating. And if depending on how long your text chain or your email chain ends up going, and as soon as you can get it into a really easy way for everyone to contact each other quickly, I definitely advise that to do. Emails is a little clunky compared to other ways that we can communicate. So you have a much more generous flow policy. You have 3 team meetings throughout the term. They're not every week. The first one is week 3. I think the second one is week 5 or 6. I'm actually not sure as I'm talking. And then the last one is after Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving and the week after Thanksgiving, kind of that bubble there. So we have three, and this is a chance to check in with everyone. And there's going to be a whole nother video on that assignment. So uh, that'll be coming up. There's also a Start Here module just for team meetings. You can look there. Most of that is conversation norms and different requirements for civil engagement that you'll find on that page. When the assignment itself opens up, it will have a step-by-step guide in it. Or another reason to make an appointment with me if you feel nervous about this and want to check in about what it is. All right. The next page in your syllabus is for what we're going to cover. I'm excited about this one. All right, so I've designed this class, which is why there's no textbook and why we have a lot of different books to choose from, because I really want you to make the class your own. And I really also wanted to make sure each week was hitting really important topics in conflict management, which aren't always laid out as neatly in textbooks. So I've designed it myself to better serve what we're doing in the organizational leadership program. And I've also been adapting it as we've had people from different majors in the class uh, who are looking for ways to manage either their personal life. So you can use this class to manage your family relationships, romantic relationships, parent-child relationships. You could also use this class to work on professional environments and workplace, if you are a subordinate with management or supervisors that you might have conflict with, this class is for you. If you are a supervisor or a manager or running a project manager for a team, this class is for you. I really try and find lots of ways to make the class accessible. So that's why this book is really important, the one that you choose for the class, because you're really making the class your own by your book choice. And you can find YouTube videos or look up different reviews. There's that Goodreads site. Uh, look up things about each book. Maybe you've heard of some of them before too. Maybe you have one on your shelf that's happened in this class before. Like, oh my gosh, that's been on my shelf and I've been meaning to read it. Now's the time, right? If any of these books you've read before, I do ask that you choose one that you haven't. If you're struggling, if you are struggling to figure out, oh my gosh, I don't know which one to read, choose the one that sounds, I say I would, if it were me, I choose the one that's actually going to push me a little bit out of my comfort zone, because that might be where there's work to do that I may not always want to look at it, but now might be the time. So the first book is Thanks for the Feedback, the science and art of receiving feedback well. So this is a really important, the subtitle in here, Receiving Feedback Well, is how we are getting feedback from others and what is our reactions and how are we managing that experience. It definitely talks about how we give feedback, and it's not that Oreo thing. I don't want to hear that in this class. You'll get me going. If you want to know why I don't like the Oreo feedback, that's its nickname, but it has other names too, where you give a positive, a negative, and a positive. That can really sabotage relationships. Those of you who are in my organizational communication class probably heard me talk about that already. But this book is a good one for professional experiences or workplaces. This next book is called Good Inside, and it is a practical guide to becoming the parent you want to be. Now, don't look away if you're not a parent and you don't want to be a parent anytime soon. This book is amazing for how to self-regulate emotions, deal with stress, and how do you take care of the other person in a conflict. So obviously this is parent and child, And you might be the child with a parent who you need to have this, and maybe you want to flip the things she's saying for in a relationship to take care of yourself if you have parents who are dysregulated quickly in a situation. Um, Not that the child should be the parent, but sometimes when we're adults, we feel like we get switched into there. Everything's a different, has a different application to that. Anyway, so this book is really, in fact, I know someone who uses this book in their workplace as a way to manage project management with different personalities. So that's a good one for that one. We're going to watch a lot of things with Becky Kennedy, the Dr. Becky Kennedy, the author of it. And so I think you might really enjoy that. Okay. Next one. The next book is The Art of Gathering. The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker, How We Meet and Why It Matters. So interesting, this book came out right before the pandemic, and the pandemic really blew up this book and Priya Parker's career because we needed her desperately as we changed modalities in 2020, and there was a lot more asynchronous online work and really thinking about how do you create online community, how do you enter into Zoom spaces or these type of online face spaces here, face and talking spaces, I don't know what to call them. I use a lot of the techniques in this book to the way I designed our own roundtable meetings. So if you read this book, you will be looking behind the curtain of a lot of the way I've designed things. But it's not just for online. Obviously the book was written before that. She just did a lot of work to adapt it to the cultural changes and demands of us in 2020. All right. The last book you can choose is Brené Brown's Braving the Wilderness. This is The Quest for True Belonging and the Courage to Stand Alone. So Brené Brown is Dr. Brené Brown is a socialist, oh my God, it's a sociology professor who who is really looking at the power of how do you stay centered and how do you have the courage to stand alone, which often in leadership roles we have a little bit of loneliness in leadership roles, especially if you were on the team and then you get pulled up to a leadership position, you will find a real disconnect, which can be really difficult if those were your buddies and your friends and you were used to commiserating, and now you have to take on a different role. So these books here, which one will you choose? I can't wait to find out. The one that I read some reviews online because I'm some book that might be good for someone else may not be the right one for you. So I like to keep the book list down a little bit because when I put you into team meetings, when I make your groups for the team meetings, you will have sometimes be in a group with someone with the same book. Every now and then, there's a group where everybody has a different book, which is kind of fun to hear what's happening in the other books. Sometimes it's fun to hear someone with the same book. And you have a few book assignments that are discussion boards for the whole class. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay. Which is right now, we're going to talk about the assignments of the class now. And so that means I'm going to exit the um, syllabus here. I'm clicking away out of here and closing that and going to the assignment page. If you go to the assignment page, you can find at the top right-hand side, there is a place where it says by type or by date. I'm going to talk about this while it's in the by type, so you can see how the class is designed by the type of assignments. Okay. The I in team is the first group of assignments, and these are This is a variety of things, but mostly our discussion boards for the class are here. You've already started one. Who are you? And I've seen some really great posts already going up after day one. Thank you for getting us going. I really like those emotional support chicks. That was pretty cute. I was made me laugh. So thank you for posting those. And then there's a follow up to that one that will go live on Friday, week 1B. Introduce yourself, and it kind of goes with the other one. So make sure you get this first one done and in by Wednesday, so that when the second one's open, second part of that discussion board opens up, you're ready to flow right into it. You also have another discussion board week one. We're just going to jump right in, just dive right in. And that is where you're going to tell me which book you chose and why you chose it. And that's a video you'll post and then reply to others. And so that's kind of a fun one to get going too as we get to know each other. The another assignment of this class is you have to meet with me and you'll sign up. That it doesn't happen, the sign up doesn't happen, I think, till next week, week 2, but you are going to sign up for an office appointment with me. It's about an hour long conversation. Boy, what are we going to talk about for an hour? Don't worry, we're going to fill it up. No problem. You're going to come with questions. I'm going to come with questions. We're going to have a great time talking about conflict. Woohoo, let's go conflict. And that's your office visit. So there's 2 assignments associated with that assignment. One is the signing up one. That's where you just click on the Calendly link, you get yourself in the calendar, and then the office visit is the actual meeting conversation that we end up happening. Remember, this is a communication class, so we're going to do quite a bit of communicating, lots of different ways. And then towards the end of the class, there's something called the last word. It's the exit ticket for the entire class, and we'll get there when we get there. By then, you'll be old hat at it. No problem. There are other discussion boards, but they're more content presentation ones. That's the children's book report, the metaphor report, music and lyrics report, and I am the map. These are much more, you're going to have to really think about what you're going to present to us. It's going to have vocabulary, and you're going to have to speak extemporaneously. What is extemporaneously? Let me share. It's where you make mistakes and you're not perfect because you do not get to read. No reading. I don't want to even sound like you're reading. So if you're over rehearsed or you start to the point where you start memorizing things, you can sound like you're reading. So be very careful you're not over rehearsed. Uh, but you're going to make a plan. Extemporaneous is not impromptu, where I'm going to throw a topic at you and all of a sudden you only have 30 seconds to think of something to say and then go, right? It's not an impromptu. You have time. The assignment will go live. It'll have instructions. You might even do some writing and think about what you're going to do, and practice is okay to practice. I want you to practice. I definitely advise you not to use like anything behind your video or camera that has the script on it, because it's too hard to bounce back and forth and you lose track of your places and then you start losing confidence and stumbling. I can go over lots of reasons why that might sabotage actually the flow. So extemporaneous means it's not read, it's not memorized, but you have a plan. And then you talk in a conversational style. So I'm talking extemporaneous right now, which I've definitely made some mistakes in this video. I would love to stop it right now or put it into an editor and edit out my mistake. Who cares if there's a jump clip in there? But I don't do that because I'm asking you to do it. So I have to do it too. I have to own my imperfections in the space as well, which is a lot of what we're trying to do in this class too, is really embrace who we are and our identities here. So that means that when I'm talking here, I might be talking faster than you want, but it's posted video so you can rewind and go back and re-listen. Or maybe I'm talking too slow. I have to say that probably, or I have some extra awkward pause. Um, that needs to that feels like well, fast forward. I want to get to the point. When you watch videos on YouTube with influencers or people who are podcasting or putting up a video like I'm going to give you information, uh, those are usually highly edited, where all the pauses and ums and whatever verbal habits that the speaker has are edited out. And that's for a lot of reasons. One is to just compress the video because algorithms, they know people will click away and they're monetizing their videos. I'm not doing that. I'm a This is a professor video at a university, and if we weren't asynchronous, we would be in the classroom and I'd be at the front of the room droning on about the topic. And I am just myself on here. I want you to think about how that might train your ear in a different way. So I want us to be developing our skills as listening as well as speaking, right? These are the two parts of the conversation here that we need to think about. It's not just about how I'm talking or how I'm trying to convince you or I'm going to win and you're going to lose in this conflict. There's only one way to see this, and my way is the only way. That's not really what we're going for here. And that's very contrary to the current kind of societal climate that we're in right now, that is really about digging in and it's my side, the end. Uh, it's not what we're looking for here. This isn't a debate class. This isn't a rhetoric or persuasive class. It's an interpersonal communication class, meaning we are interested in what's happening in an actual conversation. Okay, so those assignments there are all about learning how to do what we're going to do, which is to be able to convey an idea in a conversational style and in being engaging that way. I can help you. I am a public speaking teacher. My bachelor degree is in theater arts. I direct plays at the local theater. I am very happy to work with anyone who wants to develop this skill. Uh, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, understanding the skill of how to convey information or articulate an idea is going to help you in your personal life, professional life. These are things that are really important. So I want that for you. I already talked a bit about the conflict roundtables 1, 2, and 3. Those are your Zoom team meetings that you will submit. I'm looking at the dates right now. It looks like the first roundtable is going to open up at the end of next week. Then one opens up week 5, so that means it's due week 6. And then we have one opening up the week before Thanksgiving, and then you do that. And remember the generous late policy. Even though I have a due date, you have about 7 extra days if you need it. The last 2 assignments, there's a final book report and there's a leadership report. The leadership report is really a self-assessment of your own conflict management style, your hopes and dreams of how conflict will go for you, and things like that. Now, I want to say this class comes with a content warning. We are going to dive into topics that are sometimes difficult and might activate you. They activate me sometimes. So you are not alone. If you feel very sensitive about conflict, if your go-to way to deal with conflict is to avoid it, maybe at all costs, you are in a safe place. This class is also for you. And we're going to get you some tools in your toolbox. If you're someone who is more reactive and likes to push in and dive into the debate, or you have someone who's constantly engaging you, whether you want to or not, in debate until you feel triggered, these things are topic. We are going to talk a lot about these topics, and that means it's going to make you remember things that maybe you have put away in a nice little neat box so you can go to school, so you can get your life done and get your homework done and it might bubble up. So please have something available for you. We're going to talk about tools for self regulating in this class, but maybe you already know what that is, whether it is going for a walk, listening to music, dancing it out, talking to a friend. Do you have your friend on speed dial? You won't believe what this teacher's making us learn now, right? Like have that person there. Or maybe I definitely have had people in the class that where family members have joined in or romantic partners watch these lectures, they watch them together. You're definitely welcome if you have someone who just wants to sit by your side through it all. So find the path through the course that works best for you. We are buckling up for the ride. Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. um, Sometimes I use humor. It makes difficult situations easier to handle. I can I can reel it in most of the time. Okay, a coping mechanism. We'll talk about humor as a coping mechanism in this class too, for sure. Well, this is the welcome video, and it's just a little over 30 minutes. That's usually how long it takes me to go over the class and the syllabus. I hope I was able to clarify things you had been looking through and clicking through on the class. And now you're getting a little bit of a vibe of where we're going. And I can't wait to meet you all. It is my privilege and joy to be with you on this journey. And I hope you have a good term.